Hello, beautiful people of the internet. Today, we're going to look at the mindset that is killing Christians. So today, I want to talk about how you can get rid of the things that you struggle with in life. And how you can basically get rid of the sin that you struggle with, whatever that sin may be. Because the truth is, there is a mindset that's ruining us, and that mindset is called the mindset of lack. Now, what do I mean by the mindset of lack? First of all, when I first heard this, I was like, what the heck? What does that mean? Because I had never heard anybody speak about it, but I was praying one day, and God said that all sin comes from a mindset of lack. And I was like, really? It does? Then I started thinking about it, and I realized that it's actually the story of my life. Like, when I used to live in lack. I used to live in this mindset of lack where I didn't have a faith and didn't believe fully in the complete wholeness that Jesus gives us. And because I didn't believe in that, there was a mindset that went with it where I didn't feel like I was good enough. I didn't feel like I was wanted. I didn't feel like I was desirable. And because of that, I went to pornography. Why? Because when you watch pornography, you feel desirable. You feel wanted. And it's a it's sexually wanted, intimately wanted. Because we all want to be intimately wanted. And that's the thing. When I had an encounter with Jesus, when I had an encounter with God, I realized that He intimately desires me. Like in a beautiful way, like He wants this incredible relationship with me. And it freaked me out at first. I was like, really? He does? But it completely took away the pornography. I didn't have to try to work against pornography. Instead, I encountered something that was so much better than pornography. I encountered true love. I encountered the true desires that God has for me, that He created me with and created me in, and that He desires me. And when I encountered that, the pornography just fell off because it was a lesser something. It was lesser. It wasn't something that I desired anymore because I was already desired. Does that make sense? Because this mindset of lack, literally, you can go through anything that you struggle with right now, and I guarantee it will come out to be the mindset of lack. Because here's the deal. Here's the gospel. Let's go back to, this is the foundation. The gospel message according to Justin, paraphrasing it from the Bible. This is how it goes. Actually, you know what? We're going to start at the beginning, because the beginning is where it starts. Adam and Eve were created in this perfect world of pleasure. They were put in the Garden of Eden, which means pleasure, to experience the fullness of life, to live abundantly, to live in love. And they did, until the serpent comes along and convinces them that they are not created in the image and likeness of God. Basically, the serpent says, if you really want to be like God, you got to eat this apple. And the truth is, in the beginning, God created man in His own image and likeness. So they were already created in the image and likeness of God. But the moment they start looking inside and questioning that, and stepped outside of faith and being fully persuaded that they are like God, they stepped outside of faith, then a mindset of lack took over. And they're like, wow, I lack this. So I need to find it. I need to discover it. And because they had a mindset of lack, they ate the apple. And the rest is history. That's how sin entered the world, through one man, Adam. However, the gospel, the good news of Jesus Christ, of Yeshua, is He came and took us back, completely paid the price for all the sin and crap that we did, and the mindset of lack, to take away the mindset of lack, to complete us so that we could live in freedom, we could live in faith, we could live in what God actually created humanity to be in. Does that make sense? That's a very simple version of the gospel. Jesus died so you could be free. Simple, right? However, when we don't fully believe that, if we don't have full belief and fully persuaded in the fact that Jesus completes us, which is what the gospel message is all about. Jesus completes humanity, and He shows us who we really are. If we don't believe that, then guess what? We're going to live out of a mindset of lack. And when we have a mindset of lack, it's going to destroy everything around us. It's going to destroy our lives. And that's why people do stupid stuff like watch pornography, for instance, or go get drunk all the time because, well, they have a mindset of lack. Like, you can go through anything in your life. Like, let's take, what would be a good example? Let's take thievery. Thievery. We're going to go with thievery this time because we all want to be thieves. Okay, maybe we don't. But the point is, if I feel like I lack something, like let's say I feel like I lack money, which in a lot of ways it can be status, it can be whatever it may be. And I feel like by going and stealing something from somebody else is going to help me fulfill that, then that's what I'm going to do. And see, that's the thing, like a mindset of lack is just basically a mindset of dissatisfaction, where you're not satisfied, like you're not fulfilled, you don't feel fulfilled in life, you're not satisfied in life. And that's the whole point of the gospel. Jesus satisfies us. He completes us, completely completes us. Yes, remember that one. If nothing else, remember this. Jesus completely completes you. Soak it in, because it's good news. So you're completed, and like actually it says in Romans, I was reading this one time, where it says that anything we do outside of faith is sin. Wait, what? Anything? Yeah, it doesn't matter what you do. It's not about what you do, like good or evil or whatever. It's literally the mindset behind it. So if you do it outside of being fully persuaded in Jesus and fully persuaded that He completes you and there's no lack in your life, if you come from that mindset, it's impossible to sin. That's why it talks about in 1 John that if you know God, then you won't sin. It's impossible for somebody who knows God to sin. It literally says that. So like that's the thing. Like here's a question I want to ask you, and this is the crux of this video. If you had no lack in your life whatsoever, money was an issue, favor from God was an issue, no lack whatsoever, what would you do? What would you go after? Because here's the deal, like the mindset of lack controls us. And true freedom, that's what true freedom is all about, is getting rid of that mindset of lack. Because when we aren't controlled by our desires that come from a mindset of lack, we can be free to be who we truly are. And take anything, because a lot of people, they make excuses for their sin. Like, oh, I do this because I enjoy it and I want to. And the thing is, the reason they do it is because they don't feel, but it never fulfills them. And the reason they do it is because I have some sort of mindset of lack. Simple as that. So we need to take care of our mindset of lack in the church, especially in the church, because so many churches are teaching that you have lack and you got to keep repenting, you got to keep doing all this stuff to try to work yourself up to being like God. But the truth is, again, it's the same lie from the beginning. You are already like God. That's the truth. You already like God. And so what we need to do, and this is how you can get rid of it. I want to show you how to get rid of this. What you need to do is you need to focus and let the truth dominate your mindset. That's why it talks in Romans 12 about the renewing of the mind. We need to be renewed in our mind. We need to literally change the way that we think. Because when we think from a mindset of abundance and fullness in Jesus, then there's nothing we lack. There's nothing that we can't do. But when we think from a mindset of lack, we limit ourselves and we keep ourselves from experiencing the fullness and the fullness of the will of God, the fullness of the pleasure of God, because the word for will can also be translated pleasure. So I don't want you to have that in your life. So I want you to think about this week. This is your challenge this next week. Think about the things that you would do if you had no lack in your life. And think about the things the mindset of lack. Identify the mindset of lack that you have and get rid of it. Replace it with the truth. And focus on that truth. Because it will change your life. And that's ultimately what life is about, is when we get rid of that mindset of lack. And it's a process. And that's another thing. Enjoy the process, because there is a process. And we need to be all right with there being a process, because if we aren't all right with it, then we're going to wish we were somewhere where we were not, and we're going to find a lack in that instead of finding the fullness in Jesus Christ right now, right here, right now. In fact, let's do that right now. Lord Jesus, I just thank you right now that there is no mindset of lack in any of us, that you have completely taken rid of everything that has to do with lack. You have cut it off, and you have replaced it with your abundance. That's why he says Jesus came to give a life and life abundantly. Thank you, Lord, that we have your abundance flowing through us right now, right now. And I want you to believe that. I want you to go out this week and I want you to go after something because you have no lack in your life, because there's nothing that you lack. And think about, what will you do if you have no lack? Will you start a business? I don't know what you're called to. I don't know what your desires are. What will you do? You go travel the world if you have no lack. But why have you let lack control you? It stops today, man. It stops today. Because you are beautifully and wonderfully made in the very image and likeness of God. And that's just the way it is. Does that sound cool or what, man? Like, this mindset of lack thing, gotta go. Gotta go. Gotta get out of the church, man. The church is keeping it because it's become a business. And so you got to keep people coming back, and if they realize they're free, they're not going to come back. Because, yeah, it's just the way it works, man. So we need to get rid of any lack in our lives, any mindset of lack that we have, because it's not truth. It's not truth. It's outside of faith. And faith means to be fully persuaded. We be fully persuaded in Jesus, man. Fully persuaded. Anyway, stay awesome. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, please share it with everybody that you know, especially your grandma, because she needs to hear this message. And also like my page on Facebook and subscribe on YouTube and sign up with your email address and get the 40 verses that the devil doesn't want you to believe, because those 40 verses will actually tell you the truth of who you are. And they can change you. It can change your life, because that truth will start gripping you and start being in your heart, and you'll start actually living from it. And it'll just be awesome. It'll help you get rid of the mindset of lack. So there's a link below that you can go to and sign up. So anyway, go do that right now. And my name is Justin Miller, and I approve this message.